Hey guys, I'm Juliana, your automotive woman, and I'm dedicating a full episode of my life in the fast lane to season 2 of Netflix's Drive to Survive. So if you're a fan of Formula One and you eat, breathe, and bleed it like I do, then stick around because myself and good friend and race car driver Daniel Morad are going to review it. Hey buddy, how's it going?
It's going well. How about you?
I'm very well. Congratulations on another podium, Daytona 24.
Thank you. It's nice to be on the podium over there.
Yeah.
It's a great podium.
Are you wearing your first Rolex win there on you?
I am, yeah. I wear it a lot, actually.
So nice.
Just a good reminder of what I want to keep doing.
Exactly.
Being on the podium is cool and all, but being in the middle of the podium, that's where it's at.
Exactly. Okay, so let's dive into it because like me, you are a super Formula One fan, and without a doubt, season 2 of Netflix Drive to Survive just finished, but you also watched season 1. So let's just touch on that for a quick second before diving into season 2. Season 1, what did you like about it? What stood out?
Well, it's the first time that you really had behind-the-scenes access in Formula One. So people that were like not involved in the sport had no idea before watching Netflix, and I think it brought so many new fans into the sport, which was awesome. And not just for Formula One, but for sports car racing, which really helps myself and the drivers that I'm racing with. It brings awareness to the sport, and I think it's awesome that Formula One's finally letting people in because it's the pinnacle of motorsport. Essentially, it's what everyone from karting has aspirations to go do, and only very few people have the opportunity to due to many factors. But it's really cool that you can finally get in. And the first year was a bit odd that you didn't have all the teams. But the great thing about season 2 is that now you have all 10 teams involved, so you really have behind the scenes of even the top teams like Mercedes and Ferrari.
So well said. I really like what Liberty and Netflix have done, which is humanize Formula One. In the Bernie era, we saw that you didn't have access to drivers and teams. You can barely even get into the paddock. And now it's like you really get to see that these people are just like us. And it like you said, there's only 20 people actually make it into Formula One. And yes, there's many factors. But it's good now to finally see that hey, these are the challenges behind the scenes. So from season 1 moving into season 2, what I liked is Netflix, yes, they incorporated Ferrari and Mercedes, but they were also loyal to the teams that helped make them popular. So you got to see the Haas story, the Red Bull story continue to play out, et cetera, et cetera. But with the Haas story, which was super cool, and I couldn't wait to see season 2, was the rich energy drama.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was interesting because I didn't, at the beginning of it all, it was a bit funny. Like they were a bit ambitious trying to beat Red Bull, and the aggressive tweets and things like that. So, I mean, you could just see it was going to implode right from the get-go. And then, when the team had issues and they didn't have they didn't produce a good car, the results weren't there, and you could just see it through social media that it was going to blow up. And it was interesting. You saw a little bit of it. I guess through social media they showed it quite well, but when you saw the behind the scenes of who the actual people were that were involved in Rich Energy, you can totally understand why it just completely fell apart. Yeah. But it's such an interesting team to watch because there's no filter there, and I mean, it must be hard to be a driver in Haas because you get scrutinized, you're just full on, gun towards your head.
Really? You think that? I thought that about Red Bull.
Yeah, okay, that's a whole nother level of difficulty. You need to be mentally strong. I feel like when things go wrong, there's not a lot of support.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what makes a good team. When you have a team boss that can really encourage you when you're down, not kick you right in between the legs. That's not fun. And I know that from a driver's point of view. If I make a mistake, the last thing I want to hear, I'm hard on myself, so the last thing I want to hear is somebody telling me I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Just like, I know I did something wrong. Let me just recover, encourage me, and I'm going to do the job next time. So, I mean, it's happened to every driver. Everyone's made mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you're not going fast enough. So, I mean, it's just when you make a mistake, it's easy to get into like a mental hole if somebody keeps beating you down. And that's where, you see with Red Bull and Pierre Gasly, for instance. I've kind of been there. I've been in the Red Bull system when I was a bit younger. And it's really hard because even when you're winning, it's not good enough sometimes. It's why didn't you win by more? Or, why didn't you do the fastest lap of the race? There's always something negative. There's never positives to encourage. It's always negative. And some drivers can cope with that, and some drivers just need some positivity.
Yeah, so before we jump into that Red Bull stuff, because you do have hands-on experience being a Red Bull Junior Academy driver and coming through that ladder, I'm going to disagree with the Haas statement you were alluding to. I thought Gunther he's amazing and like one of the best personalities besides Ricardo, but I feel as though he knocks down his guys, but only almost in like an undertone type of way, where it's not like Red Bull, where it's like punch you in the gut, like basically you're crap and you're out the door.
Well, he's more sarcastic.
Yeah, sarcastic. Well said. Well said. So I didn't think they were that terrible. What I appreciate about Haas is Gene Haas is very honest and says, hey, if you guys don't deliver, I'm taking my money elsewhere, which that's fair. And I think that's, I think that's just Formula One or racing in general, that if you're not producing, the money is going to go and it's going to go elsewhere into another form. So some of my highlights, and you already touched on it, was the Gasly story. Honestly, I bawled like a baby because to see that guy fight back and just like smash it was like sticking up a middle finger to Christian Horner, and that was I felt his passion, and Netflix did a great job of allowing us to feel that passion and seeing how hard it was behind the scenes. So tell us a little bit about how that is, like how was that driver academy and the atmosphere and what you had to go through.
Yeah, I think so many drivers have been through it. I mean, the two Canadians are myself and Rob Wickens. So, we're unfortunate to be in a market where it's not really important or as important to Red Bull as maybe some other markets. Obviously, it's still a very important market, but, when we were in the program, it was just bad timing, I'd say, on the business side. It's not like we weren't performing because I just came off of a records, breaking season in Formula BMW, winning. I was the most winningest driver of all time in the series. Wow. Won half the races in that season, and it just wasn't good enough apparently. I always was told, why didn't you win by a bigger distance? Like the gap was too close, or you didn't do the fastest lap, you didn't qualify in pole enough. It was always something. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I can understand maybe they're trying to push and get the most out of you, but obviously I'm already pushing flat out, and if I'm winning races, I think that speaks volumes. So, I can understand where Gasly was, okay, he stepped into a car where he wasn't as comfortable with it and just got off to a rough start, and having Max Verstappen as a teammate is probably not the easiest thing, just because, he's probably not helping anybody on the mental side. Like, he really gets in people's heads, right? And he's an aggressive driver, just doesn't care about anything except for himself, and I think you have to be selfish to a certain extent to be at that level. Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely not doing any favors, and Pierre seems like more of a relaxed, kind person, and it just, it's not going to work in that scenario.
Are you saying Albon's not nice?
What's that?
Are you saying Albon's not nice?
No, I think he is, but he has maybe a little bit more fight behind him because he's gone through more trouble to get there, and he's hungry.
Yeah.
right? I don't know the financial situations of all these drivers, but I know Albon doesn't really have personal money. He had to fight for his budget through, let's say, going to Thailand and going to the tourism board and things like that. So the guy's more hungry than somebody that's been maybe, I don't know if Gasly's been fed a little bit easier, but for sure in Formula One, it's usually you're coming from some sort of wealth if you're there, just to get through junior level formula racing, stuff like that. But for Albon, he's like a rare case where he had no financial backing, and he's super hungry and is just his head is clear. He just wants to attack and fight. And he wasn't even performing. Like the first time he got in the car, his qualifying performance was pretty weak, but his race performance kind of saved him, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, he started last, right? Well, it was in
Spa. Yeah, he was like 17th.
So I mean, when you're like starting basically last, and the 15 cars in front of you are crap anyways, and you only have to like catch up to another Red Bull and a Ferrari and Mercedes. I mean, was it that difficult to look like a superstar? I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail by me saying that. Like, how difficult is it to go from like last or second last on the grid up the field? But I mean, like, honestly, when you're already a second and a half, 2 seconds faster than like a McLaren car at that point, or like a Racing Point, like whatever, to each their own. He looked amazing and it was great for him. I was honestly shocked. I didn't know any of that stuff about his mother and the fraud and going to jail, and then his steps, what he had to go through. So I think any driver with that kind of mental strength, and you said it, like all drivers have to have it, right? You have Leclerc. Like, let's look through everything Leclerc's been through. His dad dies, his mentor dies, and this guy keeps his butt in the seat, kept his head in the game, and is like, he won the rookie season with Ferrari, and he wins the most amount of poles. Like, it's insane the mental strength and exercises that goes into it. And that's where I'm kind of disappointed with Netflix. Like, I wish they told more about the human side of it. Like the exercising part, like their day-to-day and what they go through. We saw at the end of the season, it was announced that Bottas, is getting a divorce. Like, nobody wants to hear those things, but at the same time, it's like, why? Like, your family's there with you, pushing you through, you finally make it, and then things fall apart. I'm one of those types of people that, A, I like the gossip, but B, I want to understand the whys and what makes you, right? At the end of the day, it might help myself with something else. And with that said, like, I like that you said Ferrari and Mercedes were included this year, but I was really disappointed that they really weren't that included. Like, you saw Vettel in a couple clips, and you didn't really see Leclerc, and it's like, here's two teammates crashing into each other, and that's Ferrari. And that's like a conspiracy just to do that. That's a controversy, right? So what were some of your disappointing factors about season 2?
Yeah, I think not showcasing the Ferrari battle enough, and I think it's more the Ferrari side controlling what's let out, mostly.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty tight with what they want to give to the media, because everyone's going to speculate anyway in the Italian press. Yeah. They can make up enough stories as it is. But
not as Italians, come on.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think they should have focused on that story a little bit more. I was looking forward to hearing more about Leclerc's background, and he was a dominant driver in the junior level, and he went through so much, so many difficult times with his father passing away, with Jules Bianchi passing away, and going out like literally the next day. I think it was in Monaco. His dad passed away, and he won the race.
Yeah.
And everyone develops at a different time or a different speed, and I think for him, he developed so early that mental strength. And some other guys, like let's say Pierre Gasly, like if he gets a second chance in a big team, I'm getting a call. If he gets a second chance in a big team, I think that maybe going through this might help him go forward and develop that strength that he needs to keep his composure and perform.
Okay, so I know you have a couple calls coming up for 12 Hours of Sebring. You're racing with Audi. What can people expect, and how do my viewers find you?
Yeah, well, exactly. Racing with Audi Sport, WRT, and Audi Canada's involved again, so that's really awesome to have some Canadian involvement. 12 Hours of Sebring, it's on the 21st of March. Obviously, 12-hour race, one that we were close to last year, finished 4th. This year, we had a nice test, so definitely made some improvements. New team, same car, so I'm looking forward to a good race. You can watch it on IMSA.tv or on, I believe, Fox Racing, or no, Discovery Velocity. Discovery Velocity in Canada, NBC, or NBC Sports in the US. But it's going to be a good one, and hopefully we can get that first place trophy, and I can add another accomplishment onto the wall of fame right over here.
I love it. Okay, and you have some amazing swag, so how do we pick that up?
Through Moradness, we love to involve the community and open our doors to motorsport and show people what it's all about. We want people to come in close. It's not an exclusive sport. I want to make sure that people understand what it's all about, feel welcome, comfortable, and show everybody behind the scenes as much as possible. So that's what Moradness is all about. That's what we love to do. Just like what Netflix does with the Drive to Survive series, it's just awesome to get more enthusiasts and more fans involved in motorsport.
Okay, well said. I will leave you right here. Good luck in Sebring, and I will see you trackside soon. Bye, buddy.
Thanks. See you guys.
Ciao. Okay, again, that was my friend Daniel Morad. If you want to watch him and follow him in Sebring, I'll provide the information below, and definitely check out his Moradness clothing line. But just to wrap this up, a few more points that really stood out to me is Will Buxton. First of all, get real close. No, like really close. Netflix, pay attention. You guys need to make Will Buxton your narrator for season 3. Straight up, that guy's amazing, tells it how it is. He doesn't give a crap. It was like, he's like, see you later, Patty Lowe. The honesty with that man is great, and his storytelling capabilities is above and beyond. But a big time awkwardness moment has to be Claire Williams with Patty Lowe when she showed up at the circuit with the bits. Yes, we have the bits, and they traveled with the bits, and that was awesome because here you have equipment that hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and they refer to it as bits. Amazing. But back to the awkwardness is when she didn't even look at Patty Lowe at the track when he came to say hi. So he's like, hi Claire. Hi Patty. Yeah, have the bits. Awkward. Totally been in that moment when you just don't want to speak to somebody that you really don't like. Okay, so things to improve. Definitely want to see more with Ferrari and Mercedes. I think a lot better job can be done with that. However, I'm also not privileged to their contract negotiations and how much they're allowed to let Netflix in, but it would be nice to see a little bit more. Again, it doesn't hurt to show these guys working out and what they go through kind of a day-to-day basis with that. Lewis Hamilton did a great job of trying to show a little bit of his behind the scenes and showing the fan stuff. I mean, again, it doesn't hurt to show that stuff, I think. Here's a guy that's very much an entrepreneur and into clothing. It would be nice to see the development part in that. And I mean, God, at the end of the day, it's more exposure for Tommy Hilfiger. A big disappointment too was not seeing Alfa Romeo. I mean, like, Kimi Räikkönen, the funniest person. Well, I mean, I don't know him personally, but he's incredibly funny to watch or to listen to in podcasts. So, I mean, like, why not? But again, don't know if they are actually part of that Netflix negotiation, but I would love to see them. That's it. I mean, 2020 season this weekend, 2 Canadians on the grid with Latifi and Stroll. So yeah, cheering hard for those guys. You know, Latifi's repping T-Dot and you have Stroll repping Morad. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season with Latifi being on Williams, not a very good team. Hopefully they can come up a little bit more this year and start to battle. And then you have Stroll, who's basically on Racing Point, that's, I don't know, copying Mercedes this year. Who knows? If you guys want to read all the drama, my favorite website is motorsport.com. But I'll leave it right there. Again, 2020 season starts this weekend in Australia. I'm Juliana, your automotive woman. Make sure you continue to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my life in the fast lane.